What's up, guys? You'll remember this lady we did a few episodes back, maybe a little over a week ago. We're going to watch more of her chaotic stories. Let's get into it.
I went on a girls' trip to Europe, and when I got home, my boyfriend had packed up our entire apartment to move to a different state. I'm going to tell you guys this awful story while I packed to go to Chicago. If you saw my other videos, this is the same boyfriend that bought the second apartment behind my back. I goes home, I'm going back for 10 days. For my friend Shelly's baby shower, she's having a boy. Best friend Sarah and I packed a girls' trip to Italy and Greece. Originally had asked my boyfriend to go, but he said no because of work. Trip was going to be 2 weeks long. My sister's also pregnant. It's my first niece. We're all wearing pink, so I got this. Comes along to trip time, and we're first starting in Rome, then made our way to Amalfi. The time I was in Italy, my boyfriend and I were communicating great. We were talking on a little WhatsApp. Then we went flying from Italy on cheap little Ryanair to Athens. If you need to be humbled in life, carry your suitcase around Europe real quick. I hate packing for the cold when I live in warm weather now. These are coming with us. Did Athens, Mykonos, and Santorini. That's when things started getting really weird. He got very short with me and he was barely talking to me. This jacket has to come. I barely ever wear it. It needs to get worn. Don't think I'm skipping a workout while I'm at home. I love working out with my mom. We got lots of workout clothes. We get home from the trip. He picks me up from the airport and he's just like, "Hi, T. I'm sorry, I've been gone for 2 weeks." There should have been like rose petals sprinkled to the car, some flowers, a big kiss, something. My best friend did such a good job on my nails. 20-minute drive home from the airport, we're just talking about the trip. Pull into our complex, I'm unbuckling my seatbelt, and he just like, his exact words were, "When you go inside, there may be a surprise." Like, surprise? This is what I meant the whole time. I walk in, and the only thing in the living room is the area rug I bought. My dad forgot his little cheetahs last time he was here. These make me blind. Walk to the bedroom, just a mattress on the floor. Our 2 dogs just walking around. Why, as women, do we pack 100 pairs of underwear for a 5-week trip? Am I gonna poop myself 10 times? I don't know, but I got it just in case. Turn to this man, and I'm like, what's going on? He just gives me this big... I'm gonna have to do a part 2. Can they just give me 10-minute videos yet?
I'm gonna pretend you're the New York Knicks.
So let's get this straight. You go on a girl's trip to Europe for 2 weeks and your biggest complaint is no rose petals at the airport. I know she said that she offered for him to go along and he couldn't because he had to work. I don't know. We're just going to take the story at face value. But really, the real issues here is entitlement. If she's out there gallivanting around Italy, Greece, and probably flexing on Instagram and getting pumped by chads while he's back at home reevaluating his life. Communication, yeah, WhatsApp chats are supposed to sustain a relationship while she's finding herself. But guys, take note, when the girls' trips are a higher priority than you, it's a sign to reevaluate your priorities.
Part 2 of me going on a girls' trip to Europe, and when I got home, my boyfriend packed up our entire apartment and left me. Where were we at? I look at my boyfriend, he's like, "Don't forget, we're still packing for the Chicago trip here." He looks at me and says, "Taylor, I got offered a job in California while you were in Europe, and I want to take it." First, I was calm. I was like, okay, this is a great step for us. We had been together almost 4 years. We were on the engagement track, or at least my silly little girl brain thought. He looks at me and he's like, "No, I'm going without you." I then lost my mind. If there would have been furniture in the place, I would have picked up an orange chair and threw it across the room. There wasn't, so I sprinted outside because I needed air. Remember, I like sprinted out into the desert and I just like sat on the ground and I was like, ah. And I let out literally the biggest scream of my entire life. I was so pissed, yet so sad at the same time. He also followed me out there and I was like, literally get away from me. We interrupt this story for a special announcement. Princess Polly is going to be inside of the PacSun in the Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall. Just so you know, so if you live in Arizona. Back to our regular scheduled programming. Finally go back inside and I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? And I'm absolutely hysterical. He starts crying and he had no answer for me. He was like, "I don't know. This is what I need to do. Oh, and by the way, I'm leaving tomorrow morning." I honestly don't know if I've ever been more devastated in my life. I ended up spending the entire night laying on the mattress on the ground listening to Adele, All I Ask on repeat. And I left in the morning. A week later, he called begging for me back and asking me to move out to California with him. But I said, N-O, no way. We're wearing my new babies at the airport tomorrow. At the end of the day, I think he did the right thing, just in the wrong way. He wasn't wild on marriage. I know I want to get married. He didn't think he wanted kids. I do. When I was with him, I would actually tell my family a lot, "Oh no, I don't want to get married. Oh, I don't want kids," just because I wanted to be with him. Plus, the person I'm with would not take a job without even speaking to me about it in a different state when we've been together that long. Not my person. While I was packing, I found one of his old football shirts, though. Garbage.
I'm here to tell you right now, We don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Jerry.
So he basically gets a life-changing job offer, and her first reaction is rage because he didn't consult her. Well, and he dumped her. It's this classic I want equality until it's inconvenient. I mean, 4 years together, she knew he didn't want marriage and kids, but she still stuck around even though she wanted marriage and kids. I mean, make that make sense. I mean, that's what happens when people prioritize vibes over values. And that scream out in a desert moment, I mean, over a man realizing he's not compatible with her. I mean, at least he had the decency to leave before she wasted more time. And she wanted him to grovel, but instead he leveled up without her. And that's the harsh truth, but it's on point.
I dated a guy that threw a dog kennel at me and ruined all of my living room furniture. I shouldn't be smiling when I tell this story, but I just had a real track record for picking a bunch of losers in a row. I matched with this guy on Hinge and he asked me out on a lunch date. The date was going really well. At the end, he proceeded to tell me that he was 6 years sober. I actually really appreciated that he told me that on the first date, so I was aware. He was like, I wanted to see how you felt about that before I asked you on a second date. So I was thinking, you know what? Why not? We end up going on a second date and keep seeing each other for about a month. One weekend, my friends invite me over for a girls' game night. We were playing card games and listening to music and dancing on the kitchen table. It was such a fun night. I ended up having a few too many White Claws. Did the responsible thing, and I stayed at my best friend Cher's house that night. I wake up in the morning to like 57 texts on my phone. And they were all from him calling me all these names, like a sloot and the C word and all kinds of different things. Accusing me of cheating even though I was at a girls' game night with 5 girls. I saw those messages and I was like, yeah, I will not be standing for that. I called him up and I told him the messages he sent me were completely unacceptable and we would no longer be seeing each other. Then kept calling me nonstop trying to apologize. This was going on for like 3 hours. He was contacting me on everything. I then blocked him on everything. 2 months had gone by. I thankfully hadn't heard from him. Here's where I got a little dumb. I was moving to a new apartment and going through all my stuff, and I found a pair of his tennis shoes there. Looking back, I'm like, I feel like he planted the shoes there because we were not close enough to like be on that level. I unblock the man and text him saying that I found his shoes, and I tell him that if he wants them, I will leave them on my back porch from XYZ time to whenever, because I literally did not want to see him. What does he do? He, of course, comes at a different time. I'm sitting in my living room packing, and you can, like, see through my slider so he could see me in there. He starts knocking on it, asking if he can apologize. Here's where I'm, of course, too nice. I slide open the door a little bit and let him talk to me. He apologizes. I tell him I forgive him. Then he asks, where's that little section of boxes going? I told him I rented a U-Haul, but that section was going in my car. I'm gonna have to do a part 2.
Right.
This one's a case study of ignoring the red flags. I mean, they were blaring. It sounds like they weren't really a thing. They were kind of dating a little bit, maybe. I mean, maybe they were doing the horizontal mambo in the process out of that. Who knows? But he throws this tantrum via text because she went on a girls' night. I'm more of the person that dates with intention, not just date for the hell of it. Regardless, the advice goes for both men and women is stay away from emotionally unstable guys or women. What doesn't make sense is that she unblocked him to return his sneakers. I mean, just throw the damn things away. It's not kindness, it's poor boundaries. And this dude clearly lacked maturity from the jump, and she let him back into her life thinking, well, maybe he changed. And he hadn't. We know he hadn't. Ladies, stop romanticizing dysfunction. And guys don't tolerate behavior like this either. Both sides need to vet their people better.
2 of this man throwing a dog kennel at me and ruining all of my living room furniture. So I tell him that section of boxes was going to go in my car. He's like, those will never fit in your little car. As a peace offering, you should let me take that section of boxes to your new place. And me, genuinely thinking there's nice people in the world. I say, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. He's like, yeah, of course, I'll meet you there tomorrow with the boxes at 10 a.m. So I'm up super early with the movers. I honestly kind of forgot about those boxes. I'm at my new place organizing my closet. A little after 10, I was like, oh crap. I don't have my phone with me. He probably texted me about the boxes. Searching like a mad woman for my phone. And I was like, bingo, I left it in the center console of my car. Little old small town Taylor, I left my car door unlocked because I was moving stuff in and out of my new apartment. Out to my car and I see that my book bag is sitting in front of my left tire. And the boxes he was dropping off were all sitting on my car roof. I was like, weird. My door is unlocked to my car. I open up the middle console and my phone is gone. And I was like, this man stole my phone. I had no way to contact him because I didn't have his number memorized. I would have to borrow somebody else's phone, and I had no internet service in my new apartment yet. So I'm sitting there thinking, he's gotta come back with it, right? And here comes this man's car barreling into the parking lot. Next thing I know, my phone is being thrown across the parking lot. He's screaming at me, "You're a little SL." I grabbed the phone, it's completely shattered. He just drives out of the parking lot. So I was like, okay, grabbing my phone, and I ran inside to my new place. The movers had used a rock to hold my apartment door open, and he all of a sudden barrels his way inside screaming, picks up my coffee table, throws it against the wall and breaks it. It's the same with my living room chair, and picks up my dog's dog kennel and threw it at me. I was a little ninja though, cat-like reflexes, didn't hit me. And then he sprinted out of my apartment and left. I know people are gonna say, oh, you should have gotten a restraining order or went to the cops, but honestly, I was really scared of him and I lived alone. I was clearly way too trusting of him. I can tell you guys more about this guy if you want to hear.
I don't know. This guy went full psycho, stealing her phone, throwing it across the parking lot, and destroying her furniture. What I want to know is, how did not anybody else see this or hear the noise and call the cops? I mean, this is beyond red flags. This is a big, badass red banner flying behind an airplane. I mean, she didn't call the cops because she was scared. I don't know. Again, like I said, this sounds fishy. But guys, this is why men's issues don't get taken seriously. And courts and society are quick to paint all men as aggressors, and yet women like this keep enabling dangerous men by not holding them accountable. Don't stick around toxic people. Ladies, if you know someone like this, stop inviting the drama in your life. Everyone loses in this situation. Guys, the modern dating scene's a mess. Entitlement, poor communication, ignoring red flags. I mean, it's all there. Men are walking away because the risks are outweighing the rewards. Feminism claims equality, and yet women still expect men to shoulder the traditional responsibilities without partnership or respect. The courts and social narratives disproportionately punish men while excusing women's choices. Guys, know your value and set boundaries. And ladies, take responsibility for the chaos you invite, because relationships thrive on mutual respect and not entitlement or dysfunction. As for both sides, vet your people thoroughly. Let me say it again. Vet your people thoroughly. And stop settling for red flags disguised as fun or potential. And well, guys, that's the end of the video here today. If you like what you've seen, hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Drop me a comment down below on what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.